Well, welcome to a great day. It's Tuesday. It's a marvelous day here in the middle of July, and I hope it's a great one wherever you are. And I hope you're enjoying yourself. And I tell you what, let me encourage you. Whatever you do, try to lift somebody's spirit. Make somebody's day. Do something positive today. You never can tell. It's kind of like we're reading the Bible. Cast your bread on the water. You know what happens. All right. It's a great day. Thank you for being with me. And come on into my little world for just a moment. Let's think together and maybe we can encourage one another in a small way today. You know, there are names that we hear that I guess they bring a certain image to mind, a certain event. Something special comes to mind when we hear the name. You know, if you hear the name Benjamin Franklin, there's certain things that come to mind. If you're a kid, you probably think about the guy that went out and flew his kite in a thunderstorm and got struck by lightning. Well, that may not be the full story. There was a lot more to his life, but that was one of the things he did. This study of lightning and so forth, and so many other inventions that came his way. But anyway, that's the one that came to mind when I was a kid. You heard the name Thomas Edison. What do you think about? A light bulb, of course. That's what we think about. Edison was a great inventor, had a lot of other inventions and patents along the way. Even we think about Henry Ford. And when we hear the name Henry Ford, what do we think about? Mustang. Oh, well, maybe. Sorry. Seriously, we think about the automobile. You know, there were people whose participation in life, whose inventions, whose minds, whose thinking brought certain things to mind. If you hear the name George Washington, what do you think about? Cutting down the cherry tree. Oh, sorry. The dollar bill? Oh, first president. Oh, Revolutionary War. Well, you get what I mean. When we hear a name, and sometimes a much lesser known name, maybe only known in smaller circles, maybe only known to a few people, there's something that comes to mind. We're reminded that there are people that intersect our lives, aren't there? People who intersect our lives, maybe only for a few moments, maybe for a few days, a few years, or whatever it might be. And in our lives, they bring to us something special. And when we think about that person or those people, we're reminded of something special, some event, some kindness, some lesson learned. I've got a lot of them, and I bet you do too. And I guess the admonition that I want to leave with you today, so I'll tell you right up front, is leave something to remember. Leave something that people will value. You know, we've talked about legacy and doing kindness and leaving something behind in a way, but how about something that they will remember? You know, you couldn't go into my grandmother's house, there wouldn't be maybe a little bit of leftover food sitting on the stove that could easily be warmed up. Maybe there's a piece of toast and sausage sitting there. If you came in, you were hungry, you could have a piece of toast and sausage. Now, a cold sausage and a piece of toast may not sound good to a lot of people, but when you come down the road and you come in to visit, it just might be the thing. She was always ready to get up and cook something and have something ready for us to eat. And maybe our own family members and the things that they've left for us, parents that have left things behind. You know, I was always amazed at my mother. She could open that little Lazy Susan bottom cabinet, spin it around a couple of times, or open the little pantry door and pull out several things with me thinking there's not much here in the house to eat, and she could pull out and make a meal. It was amazing. There are a lot of people like that do something special that touches our lives. I don't know that we set out to do it on purpose. We set out to determine that exact thing that we're going to leave behind. But somewhere in the course of events, you try things, you do things, and you recognize their value to others who will follow after. Maybe somebody will be hungry. Maybe somebody will need to learn a lesson. Maybe somebody needs a warning about this. Maybe I can find something that will bless others for a long time. Those are the things that come to mind. Maybe it's the inquisitive nature of our minds. But let it go. Let it be something. Don't hold it back. Give it the best you've got. There was a fellow by the name of Nehemiah. You may recognize the Old Testament book and the Old Testament story. Nehemiah could have lived his life as a cushy individual serving the king. He could have done about anything he wanted and stayed in a comfortable life. But when he heard about his home nation, when he heard about the precious city in ruins, he determined he had to do something. With the assistance of the king and others, he made his way back to Jerusalem and in short order had rebuilt the walls around the city that was so important to that nation. And not only did he do that, but he remained as kind of governor, going back to serve the king for a time and coming back to Jerusalem and serving the people again and again, straightening out, correcting things, fixing things, making things be right, and doing what he believed was best for his people, for his nation, and for God. I love the statement that he makes, I think about 5 times in the book of Nehemiah. He says, remember me. Remember me. Nehemiah 5 and verse 19. He says, remember me, my God, for good, according to all that I have done for this people. As I said, Nehemiah could have lived a cushy, comfortable life, serving in the king's palace, taking care of business there, and all the comforts that that wealthy nation could afford him as one of those very special people. But instead, he took on the obligations of a nation and brought back some of its pride, some of its recognition. And today we read about this man. And what did he say? Remember me for what I've done. Remember me for the good that I have done. When all is said and done, and your family and friends and others are thinking about you, well, they just remember, well, he was a good guy. He was here for a while and he's gone. He was a good guy. But I think if we can, let's find the good thing that we might do, the good things that we might do, the things that will stay behind, the things that will bless somebody else's life. Let's find them. Step out of our comfort zone for a little while and simply do the best we can. And then we'll say, remember me for the good that I have done. Nothing wrong with that. So find the good. Find the good. And when you found it, do the good, the best you can. Whether it's lightning, catching electricity, or a light bulb that brightens everybody's world, blazing a new trail to a new part of the world, Columbus, Daniel Boone, and so many others. Whether standing up for what you believe to be right, even if it's a sacrifice of your life, so many, are given the opportunity to lead in a great revolution of heart and mind and even of people. You never know what might come your way. It might just be blessing the lives of your family around you. But that's no small matter. Maybe that's the best of things. And in that, we hope. And I'll go with Stephen King in his statement that hope is a good thing. So, there it is. Remember me for the good that I have done. Pretty good statement, Nehemiah. Maybe you and I can live by it too. Hey, thanks for being with me today. I hope it's an encouragement to you. I hope it's a blessing to your life. And of course, I hope you are a blessing to others round about you. We'll share more. We'll get a little further down the road.